Alright, so this is another video blog. Not sure which one number it is, probably like 65. So here's a painting that I did, which is kind of like like I said, the woodsman thing, and I don't know, they're going off on a few things, but the tree, somehow the tree is like something bad, you know. So anyway, so the thing with this, with what I've used my art, and I said this in, I did an illustration book and I talked about my metaphors, but this girl's a tree girl, and I use a rainbow, and I use like birds, and I've been using animals too, like the turtle and like different things, just like as part of you know, things that have been, that, you know, that as an artist, that's what you use, and, you know, colors and metaphors and symbols. But really, like, this whole Sigmund Freud thing, and like, that's not what I've been doing, you know, lately. For the last couple of years, maybe I've been, it's affected, like, for a few years actually, I don't know, it's affected like my second guessing of what I'm doing, and also, you know, like, started to make fun of it, but not really, like, kind of reacting to some stuff in a way where I'm trying to work through it, but none of it is like, is going to the place where I'm engaging the conversation seriously, or most of it's, you know, misinterpreted or turned into something else. So same thing with this tree girl or tree guy or whatever. Like, I did one for an art show in Synthesis a long time ago, man. It's like 2000, like 8 years ago already. So this is like, but as an artist, you know, my work is my work, you know, and like, that's not what this symbolizes, anything negative about some weird stuff. What it represents is nature, Mother Nature, to be specific, and that's what it is. And so I finished, when I learned about some stuff, I was like, oh, but I've decided to finish my work and not let these people try to turn it into something else, even though they have to the public, but not to, you know, time will tell, you know, what's the real, what my work really means, and you know, the truth will be out, you know. And so as I finish up all my work and stuff, things are getting more clear, I think, to people. And some people are backtracking and trying to be like, oh, you know, just kidding. But, you know, they took a lot of years out of my life, like, and time, when people understand years, or time is the most precious thing you have on this earth, and relationships and stuff, and, you know, a lot of that I gotten, you know, and I don't, and there's another saying is like, take responsibility for the things that are in your life, you know, because you attracted them, you brought them into your life in a way. So whether it's to make you stronger, or to whatever the case is, like, I started to realize that too, is, you know, like, you know, there's tragic stuff that happens in people's lives, all of us, and it's how you handle them that really ends up counting. And it's also how you know, keeping going, you know, not letting the world change you to make you worse, you know, because the world will challenge you to your extent. The things that, like, I've never ever dreamed any of this stuff would happen like it has unfolded, and it's been, you know, the toughest thing I've ever had to deal with so far. And, you know, it's an enemy, it's a challenge or enemy or whatever that, you know, you can't fight physically, you can't punch or whatever, you can't, like, it's been this weird thing, you know. It's been a psychological, spiritual battle, and for the, you know, I can't, like I said, you know, like, this is my own life. This is not other people's lives, so I don't know what other people have had to deal with, but you know, this is something that is not um, not normal. I don't know. Anyway, let me keep going. So here's some stuff that is very, wow, man, this is some deep shit. So this is first of all, let me talk about these people that come into my world and try to turn stuff in, and, you know, try to aggravate the situation or whatever they were trying to do. But I really feel like they were trying to aggravate the situation for their own agendas. And some people, you know, like karma, you know, it came back to some people. And because like I said, they try to turn it into something worse than any of this stuff ever was. And that's kind of where I'm at, is you know, if it was about, if people talk about their own life or whatever, that's something different. But if they want to come into somebody else's life and try to tear it apart and then try to turn, you know, manipulate a situation, that's when karma comes in. So anyway, so I don't know what all the situation is, but this is my artwork and this is my life. This is like stuff that that has to do with, you know, my stuff. So people hire me for art, right? So I do my own stuff, and then I was working for other people here and there, and so some people asked me to do murals here and there, and they told me what they wanted me to paint, which I talk about in my mural blogs. But this is some stuff that you know, random stuff that's just sitting around that I'm like, you know what, I should talk about this. So here's part of that whole thing, and this is like a weird one, because this is like somebody I considered a friend, and maybe she was, and her friends are friend, but I don't know, you know, like I said, I had a lot of people switch up on me, and for whatever reason, you know, that's why I'm going through this, because I don't know if people are inherently bad or try to do bad things or try to, like, you know, but some people feel that they are good guys and they want to, like, you know, feel like a hero, and so they go and try to be, I don't know what their people's agendas are, but this is just things that happen. So I'm trying not to assume or infer, but these are other people that came into my world, you know, and, you know, I hope the best. I hope you know, people figure it out, you know, because like I said, I can go in and talk about people, but I didn't want to, so I'm just gonna keep it simple. So here's a album cover called Ali Battaglia, and this is a cover she asked me to do, and she kind of told me, like, okay, I want a tree with some kids hanging from the tree. And at first I was like, what the hell, like, I didn't think about it because I was so busy working on so much stuff, and she was a musician around town that I, you know, thought it was cool. You know, she was kind of like on the hippie side of it, so she wasn't like the hipster group and all that. There was a lot of different groups at the time, and they were all trying to outdo each other and try to dominate the scene. And so she was cool, you know, like, I hadn't met her through voice, so like she did some music stuff with Dan Seward. She was from Paradise, you know, I didn't really know her personally, you know, so, but I knew him enough where she seemed like a nice person, and you know, there was a whole thing of girl singers at that time, and she sounded like Natalie Merchant, which I really was a fan. I love Natalie Merchant, you know, and she sang like some really good songs that are still good, and so she kind of had that vibe and whatever, blah blah blah. So kind of looks like that tree girl, but she was kind of, you know, thicker or whatever. And so anyways, it was kind of like a mixture of that and like the whole spoken word scene. They were all kind of mixed in together. And so anyway, so she had like some musicians that she hired or were in her band, and anyway, so they asked me to do their album cover, and I was like, all right, cool. And at the time, like I said, I was like, that's weird, but she asked me to do a bunch of like whole, to illustrate her songs, So I did that too, which I haven't really went through, but and to make a video and put them online or whatever with her website. So she was a client, asking me to do something, so I did, but this was specific. This one was actually like what she asked me to draw, which was, like I said. So that's what. And when I started drawing it, I was like, that's weird, So they're holding hands, and I really didn't. At the middle of it, I was like, man, I don't know if I want to. This is kind of weird, like strange fruit. That was on my mind like the moment, and I was like, maybe she's talking about some strange like. Hanging black people kind of stuff, and because I felt like I was already getting some flack at that time, about 2011 or whatever, the synthesis stuff, and so I made this album cover, and what's it called, Water Drop Flame. I don't know what that means, but so anyway, so I did this one. And I did the white tree with the blue water, this stuff on the bottom, and kind of going with the words. And then later she told me to turn it around, which this is the first version, and so I turned it around and turned into that. Kind of looks like electricity or whatever. Hold on. And so I don't know what all this means, like for me it was like rainbow stuff and getting along and hippie stuff, and so that's kind of what my agenda was on that album cover. And so yeah, that's like, so I don't know where people felt like that was some kind of metaphor, some kind of stuff, and that wasn't the case, and that's not what I've made that art piece for, and that's not, like I said, it wasn't just something that I wanted to make. It was something that somebody asked me to do, so I tried to do my best. And as I started learning about more stuff, and the songs on the album are great. Like really, the songs like are super inspirational about following your dreams and doing great stuff, and like the shit that makes the flowers grow. So it seemed like, so it's kind of there, but she did like hire me to do some more like paintings here and there, and those are more free flowing, but I kind of just based them around her because she was a woman artist, woman singer, and kind of going off of that. So people, everything that I've ever created during that time or whatever, they were trying to use as some kind of weird stuff. So from me coming out, so no, I don't agree with that, and I don't agree with it, period. So this is another thing from people from and this is stuff I'm either explaining or I'm getting rid of. This is other people's stuff. So this is like from Voice magazine and from Paradise. So these people from Paradise, which was known for a lot of prejudice stuff, and like a lot of weed growing and all this stuff there, meth, and just like Butte County in general. But Paradise was like really known for its white pride groups and stuff. I mean, I wasn't part of it. I didn't see it particularly myself, other than hearing about it and like listening to other people's stories, and so I never saw it particularly. But growing up around this area, it was a thing. So, but these people, like I said, when I started working with Voice, they're trying to fix up the place, and it's a woodsy area. It's a country, mountain kind of woods place, so old people won't go to retire there, and so the kids are kind of like you know, country kids and whatever. So I don't know the full dynamic of it, but it's, you know, obviously everything's changing, so I don't know what's happening now. But they did have an issue with like youth suicides, and this is like serious shit. Like they have like a canyon between Chico and Paradise. It's Skyway, I think it's called. I don't know what the canyon's called, but you know, ever since I lived around here, you know, you heard about it. So when I was working with voice, you know, like there's so you could jump, like there was no rail, or I don't know what it was, but people were like driving their cars off, or they were jumping off this cliff. There was like a few different stories of that happening to like high school kids that, for whatever reason, you know, these middle class white kids, or you know, whatever, I don't know who they were, but they jumped off, like, and some of them like overdosed, and I guess there was an issue with like, I don't know what it's called, opioids, or I don't know what it's called, but the synthetic heroin kind of stuff. So that was also going through high school. They heard about that stuff too. So I don't know the whole situation there, but there was, you know, issues with Paradise, you know, that happening. And so when I took the job at Voice, I knew that was an issue. So I agreed to help out, you know, to help out young artists and poets and writers and whatever, musicians, because that's what I was already doing anyway. So just moving it into Paradise and youth, it was something like, okay, I could do that, and you know, help me with my own agenda of making books and using the computer and finishing up my comics and all this other stuff, you know, my own art, music and stuff. So so I got to meet a lot of these people and whatever, you know. So those ended up being issues, of course, of like drama, but for the most part, I hope things turn out for the best. But this was something that, so later I find out, you know, some of my drama seeped into some of these, like everyone I knew seemed to know my stuff, but they weren't telling me nothing. So I was like, what the hell? So I don't know if this was part of that, but you know, kind of heard about that because, like, dude, like, what the hell? But this was a youth there. She, like, towards the end, it was already towards the end, so like things started getting crazier as I was when I left and whatever. So I don't know if it was when I came back and they wanted to show me poetry, you know, like I was already doing my own art stuff and getting ready to do my own stuff, and you know, moved back with my girlfriend, or I don't know exactly what time it was, but it was towards the end already when Voice was already breaking up or whatever. And she gave me this book and she was like, oh, read my poems, you know, and I was like, yeah. And I tried to do some of this stuff, but like I said, I was already moving on. So, and it's funny because Stephen Moore was working on Pilgrim's Progress, you know, and which was, you know, like I said, it's Seventh-day Adventist stuff, but it's also a Christian novel, and but so I supported him in that, and but he asked me to do like this drawing for this mentally challenged kid that I never met, but I guess he worked with him here and there. But it's some fire and some ice character, and I never finished it. I started it and then never finished it, and he kept asking me to finish it for like a long time, and I was like, yeah, and I never could. And that's kind of what it was at this time for a long time. It was like I was never able to like concentrate on projects unless they were I had all this comic book stuff that was sitting looking at me, and I had to work on that, and I couldn't just do all this. So sometimes I would work on projects that, you know, people asked me to do, but most of the time I was trying to finish up my own stuff. And so that was, you know, so people were asking me to do stuff here and there, and that was like this random stuff, and I was like, yeah, but I always said, yeah, try, and I tried, and sometimes some of these stuff never got done. So I never read her book, and I tried to give it back to her a few times, and I was like, either I didn't have it, or, and I didn't really know this person. I just saw her a few times here and there, and she seemed to know, Seward and all these guys. So I don't know how that worked and stuff. But I have this little book of hers, and it was like, and I'm just like, okay. And but I was her poetry, and as an artist, like, I know it's important to get your stuff back, because that's like your stuff. But like I said, all of my own drama was going on, so I'm really thinking, like, I didn't know at the time, but like like I said, I went through all my stuff and got rid of a bunch of stuff, and trying to get the stuff to the people, like the shirts. I got a bunch of shirts, I had to donate them finally, and so I'm getting stuff done. But this book, I didn't know, but I had a feeling of like, okay, this is, I don't know, like, I had my own drama going on. So I actually read it like not too long ago, like when I got back over here from around January, February, March, and I've, and it's bad, it's not just bad, but it's like, it's personal, first of all. I don't know if I even should be talking about this stuff, but at the same time, like I said, I was getting set up for a lot of stuff too, so I'm like, so I can't say if it's real or not. I get the feeling as I read it that it wasn't really real. Like, it seems like it was written and too close, like, I don't know. I guess one of the dates is 05. I don't know. I probably get it back to the officials, but trying to figure out how to get this stuff back to the people. But I wanted to speak on it because it was in my fucking storage, so I'm pretty sure like they went through it, and like people might have questions about it. But really, like, I don't know this person, I never met this person, but she's talking about some serious stuff, and I wish I would have read it at the time. I wish I would have been able to give it, help her if that was the case, like if she was really asking for help, because she kept asking me like, oh, did you read it? And I was like, no, I didn't. And then when I tried to give it back, she was like, oh, I should read it. So I don't know. So that's the place where I'm at with this stuff, and that's a whole separate thing. But I was gonna talk more about it, but probably shouldn't talk about it, because that's not my stuff. But it is pretty bad, I think. And like I said, like, I don't know, like, people go through stuff. I don't know. No, I'm not a social worker, so I don't know. Anyway, so here's another thing, and this person was somebody that I did know, and she was a girl around my age, and I met her art school. I talked about her before. This is her painting. I had it hanging up in my house in 42 Oak Drive, and the reason that I still have it, because she didn't pick it up, but she was part of the drama as far as the end of it. Through the voice stuff, I talked about her already. Sarah, forgot her last name. She did look like Audrey Hepburn, had that same thing, and I think she got that from a lot of people. I said Amelia, but it was Audrey Hepburn. As far as like cute, she was a gorgeous girl. Anyway, but she got into the drama somehow. I don't know how she got into all that, and I don't know why she did, but anyway, so this is a painting that like I said, towards the last semester of my painting class, I took a Butte. I had met her, and Simone Sonatas started teaching, and they had a party, and my band played there, and in the backyard, and it was dark, and it was whatever, and but most time I sat in where all the paintings were, and I talked to her like for like hours, felt like hours. But I was just talking about Tales of Scarcity stuff, and like, you know, because that's what painting that I had brought, and then and I saw her painting, and the reason that's why I talked to her for so long, because I was like, wow, you know, I'm making the Poet King book, and you know, so I don't know if she knew me before that or what, but she, you know, she came to shows, and somehow our stories ended up mixing in there, here and there. But this is a painting that was at my house, so I don't know if people were like thought that I painted it or what their thing was or whatever, but you know, I borrowed it basically when I asked her. I was like, oh, you know, can I have a painting, you know, or whatever? Can I have it? I'll borrow it for a while and I'll give it back to you whenever you want. And she was like, and she didn't want to, but she was like, all right. You know, finally she was like, all right. And so she let me borrow it, and that was like, so she knew what was my story already, because when I first got on Facebook, she was one of the first people that even like messaged me, and she was like, what are you doing at nights? And I was like, what? And I was like, you watching me or what? I didn't say that, but at the time I was like, what? This was way before I even knew what was going on, but got that weird feeling. I was like, I won't go into that, but yeah, so I don't know, like, and she was from Paradise too and all this stuff, so I don't know, like I said, you know, I don't know everybody's agenda or whatever, but I hope for the best. But there was like a few times that I don't know if it was authorities or what, but they were like, had dinner with her and a couple other girls, some other Mexican girl and like this other like bigger lady, and they seemed all cool, like they were co-workers at this social place, and she had come back from New Orleans, and she sent me a shirt, like, I don't know. So yeah, I mean, shit, dude, I don't know, like, it's weird to feel like you're in the middle of a war and you don't know whose side you're on or who's on your side. So it's been feeling like that. I'm like, man, like, what the hell? So that's, you know, I felt like I got roasted big time, and as much as I want to roast people, I'm trying not to, because I don't want to roast the wrong people. And I don't know if people are using that against me, but it seems like, you know, what can I do other than just try my best. So this is a painting, like I said, and this is like a painting that I really like, you know, like, I don't know why she has stars on her dress, and purple dress, and like all this metaphors didn't make sense to me, other than, I don't know, and she painted it like a long time ago, like, so I don't know if there was any like reference to that before, or if people made reference to it after, because I put it in, like, I had it in some videos when I made, like, when I was painting, it was hanging on my wall, so I don't know if people like took it as something else, so I kind of want to just explain that. I don't want to go into too much more than that, but I don't take any responsibility for this painting. I don't know why she painted it for. I figured it was her, because she was really shy when I met her. She was like, you know, I think she had older parents, so like she was, I don't know if she was the only kid or what, but she kind of like was one of those kids that like, kind of like only child syndrome kind of thing, where they're kind of, you know, entertain themselves and whatever. So she kind of came off like that, like really not talking a lot, but she was really beautiful, so I liked her. I don't know what happened, like, I think, like I said, I think she ended up with the Marine or whatever, so I don't know, but she seemed to somehow like part of into my drama. And what's fucked up about the situation, there was this other dude, I think his name was Caleb, which was all these voice people too, like I said, Gigi and Jason, like, and so I met these dudes, I don't know who they were, but they were like, you know, at the bar with the dudes from Voice and After Voice and stuff, and like during when they made Lost on Main, the bar downtown when they first opened it. A bunch of partiers, and Seward got like a bunch of paintings into that bar, and from the young artists and everything, and so that there was a couple dudes that were there, some bald. I don't want to talk too much crap about everybody, but I don't know. He was a self-help kind of guy. I don't know these people other than acquaintances, but they somehow, like, she was like, hey, come, I'm back from New Orleans and come get a drink with me or whatever. And I was like, yeah, all right. Like I said, she knew I liked her at that time. So, and this was, I was going through all my drama, so it wasn't like I was like, ready for any kind of relationship. And she seemed like, anyway, so, but I was like, yeah, so what was I gonna say? So yeah, I don't know if she referenced Miley Cyrus or what, but they were like, the dude comes, so she's dancing, whatever, dropping beer on the dance floor at the Bear, and Madison Bear or whatever, and we're there's like 5 people up in the dance floor or whatever, and I never saw that side of her, so I was like, oh, this girl's a trip, but she was, and then like I don't know what I was doing. And then this dude comes there and he's like dancing with her and like doing some Miley Cyrus stuff with her. I was like, the hell, this guy just like pop in the world, or just jump in the scene and like looking at me like all crazy. So I'm just like, the fuck, like. So I don't know what her agenda was and what his agenda was, but they were definitely like they were more ridiculing the situation, I think, than trying to. But at the time, I didn't really get it. I didn't understand what was going on. So I was like, is this chick with that guy? Like, or, is that like her boyfriend or what? Like, so I was kind of like, because I trusted her, I trusted her enough to not think she had a bad agenda. But I don't know. So, so the same thing with this dude, with her. We went to dinner one time or whatever, during around the same time, and I don't know, and the big girl was asking about something like some weird stuff. I'm not gonna go into that either, because that has nothing to do with me. But they were, and I looked at Sarah and she kind of looked down, like. So I don't know, like I said, I don't know if it's a weed thing or if they were talking about some stuff, like, but it was like some weird stuff, and I was like, what the hell? So most of the interactions with that girl were weird, like, always kind of like left me like, what the fuck? Like, so yeah, so I have her painting, right? You know what I mean? Like, that's kind of fucked up. So I keep debating if I'm just going to paint over it or if I'm going to, because I already tried to give it back to her, and I saw her walking a little dog here, and like before I even left town a few years ago. So I don't know if like where we stand, but it's like, I could give it another shot and be like, hey, here's your painting, or just leave it somewhere in paradise. So I'm trying to figure that out. But I mean, like I said, it was so long ago that she painted it, so I don't know. Like, I'm thinking just another painting, but. So yeah, so that's the issue. And then there's one more thing. Oh yeah, so there's photographs from Sarah, my son's mom, and her family and all this stuff, and Isaiah's in there or whatever. So I'm giving them back to her. Some other photographs of like my friend Dawn's kids, and like, and then when I took photography class, they asked me to take pictures of their family, and I did. And so this is shit that really doesn't matter to me, like. But it's other people's kids, like, so I don't know if people are weird about that shit. So I'm kind of like pissed off about it, because I'm like, the fuck. So everything got turned into something. So I'm just getting rid of it because it's not mine. I don't really hang out with these people anymore. Not that we didn't have friendship growing up, but I don't know. So same thing with my son's mom's stuff. It's like, yeah, here's your stuff. I didn't take the pictures, they're not my pictures, they're whatever. So like her dad took pictures of Isaiah when he was a kid, and like just like whatever normal pictures and whatever. So but it's like like they're not. I have enough memories with Isaiah that we have family. He's hanging out with my family and stuff, so that's good enough for me. You can have the pictures that he's hanging out with your family. So that's kind of where we're at, where I'm at. So here's one more thing, just to get this last thing cleared. So this is Dark Crystal, right? So I bought this book at the comic book store, and people wonder like what my religion and all this stuff is, where my moral compass is at, and all this stuff. So this is a book that I bought because I watched Dark Crystal, and like I told you in 2012, like I really like the movie. I really like what the hell's his name? Henderson, or I forgot his name already. Man, my brain's not working. So what the hell is his name? It's gonna bug me now. Jim Henson, that's who it is. And I watched the making of this movie, and it was just so amazing. Like he was amazing, an amazing artist. Like, so what I think when he made this movie, it was his one he really wanted to make. So it was his masterpiece, even though it wasn't like his other movies were, probably superior in other ways, like making the Muppet, everything Muppet or whatever is, the main character didn't have this movement quite perfect and for a serious movie, but he did it anyway, and it worked. Like I think through time it makes it better and better and better as things are more CGI. Anyway, so the movie is very meaningful, I think, and like, but there is like some new agey kind of stuff in there, which Dark Crystal, so it's like crystals, and so there is an issue with that as far as like what people believe in, like the earth in general, like like, so I'm kind of in this place where I'm like like I don't partake in a lot of new agey stuff, but I don't like this book is a little too overboard, because they're using a lot of symbols that are that I don't know what they are, but I see them everywhere, but I don't. So this is an adaptation of what he left over, some of his writings and sketch stuff. So I don't know, they're pretty much an interpretation of his work from other people. So I think that is part of his storyline, because sometimes you go through a lot of ideas and you don't use them. So how are other people supposed to know what you really were going to try to use them for? So I don't know. I didn't really read the book, but the movie's great, but I don't want people to think that just because it was in my books doesn't mean that I condone, like, see the what do you call that, triangle thing. And so yeah, so people kind of try to put me there too. It's like, what do you call that, Illuminati stuff. So yeah, so I'm getting rid of this book, first of all, but I don't want people to trip out on it. Same thing with those movies. It's like, but this Dark Crystal is actually something that is a good movie, that I think has a lot of good metaphors in it and everything, and good storyline and everything. So I like the movie, but the book goes a little too astray from what the movie showed. So I don't know Jim Henson's own viewpoint in life and all this religious stuff and how the world works and mysticism and all this. So I don't know. I can't really condone it or condemn it because it's not my world. It's his own world. So I just wanted to let people know that that's not. Same thing with all this stuff. It's not my stuff. It's other people's stuff. So however I got put into this, some other people's stuff is not cool with, and that's why I'm making this video, so I can get past this part, move into the next part. But I mean, people hired me for a lot of stuff, like, so this is another thing. Ali Battaglia, she did got together a bunch of musicians and made their songs and put it together, and we made an album, and this is where one of the songs came in, and I made Let Their Light Shine. So I don't know, like, there's a lot of good collaborations. This is when I first made American Fiction. These are the characters. They don't really look like the characters, Matchhead and all these guys, but that was kind of the beginning. So the characters, not really my band, my old band. They're really their own characters. But so for my bandmates that felt that, I was drawing them, I made some jokes here and there, kind of band stuff, and but really it was not the characters are their own characters. So, and this is Stage Fright from Kyle Williams, which he was an amazing artist, musician, and I don't know, so I did it. It kind of looks like the Eminem thing, so I'm kind of weird about that, because I'm like, but he asked me to do the curtains or whatever, and kind of Stage Fright, so I don't know if that has to do with Eminem and Encore, which, if you listen to the video, I don't know if that shit really happened. Pretty bad. So I don't know, like I said, this is all, like, goes way beyond my little world. It goes to this, they took it to the next level. So I don't know what really happened. So, but, it's my life. Everybody has their own life. And, like everyone else, I choose that I want to lead the best life I can. And if I have to go through this stuff to get there, then I have to. It's part of my journey. Somehow Star Wars is in there too. So, but for the people that I actually met and know, like, I have nothing but love for people. I hope the best for everybody. But man, you guys cross me or try to tear me out, tear me up. Like, we're not cool. So, everybody, I don't mind taking responsibility for my own stuff, but I just don't like to be lied to. So that's it. Peace.